Stop worrying about money at once. Here's how. Managing your money can be stressful and challenging. When people think of managing their finances, they think that they have to spend hours in front of the computer tracking all of their expenses and worrying about what bills need to be paid. This might be true if you let it get out of hand. But what you may not realize is that regardless of your income or financial situation, there are some simple tricks to managing your finances that you can implement within seconds. When you combine good budgeting and spending habits with a good financial plan, money management is not stressful at all. Hello and welcome back to another video on our channel, Finance Sense, covering all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. In this video, we'll take a look at ways on how you can stop worrying about money. But before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell to stay updated with our videos. Without further ado, let's head on to the video. Number 1. Create a simple budget. When you were a kid, being told to eat your veggies is similar to being told to stick to your budget. You just don't want to do it. But just like eating veggies, creating a budget is a necessary part of becoming an adult and taking charge of your financial life. Fortunately, if you do it correctly, budgeting can be a smooth process. If you need a budget or want a budget that can be managed in a few minutes every month, you can utilize the 80-20 budget. This is the perfect budget for individuals who cringe when they hear the 6-letter word. The 80-20 budget works as follows. Each month, 80% of your money is assigned to expenses, while 20% is set aside for savings. This is the simplest possible explanation. There are no specific budget spending categories or difficult percentages to manage. Simply multiply your monthly gross income after taxes by 80 to get the amount you'll need to pay all your regular expenses, such as groceries and insurance, while setting aside the remaining 20% for savings. But for this budget to be effective, you must also track your expenses. Every time you make a purchase or send a payment, record the amount in the Notes section of your phone's Notes app. This will enable you to monitor your progress towards staying within your 80% spending limit. Therefore, the sooner you establish a healthy budget and keep track of it, the sooner you will start to see the financial improvement in your life that you desire. Number 2. Make your savings automated. Most individuals overcomplicate the process of saving money. They believe that in order to guarantee that they can consistently save money, they must either have complex spreadsheets or cutting-edge technology, but this is untrue. We've already covered adopting a stress-free budget and keeping very simple notes on your phone's Notes app. The final step is to set up automatic savings deductions from your paycheck. Nowadays, most individuals hold down a 9-to-5 job of some kind. Whether they are paid on a fixed salary or hourly, they typically receive a paycheck every 2 weeks. Hence, you should ask the person who handles your payroll or the HR department to withhold 20% of your salary, and then transfer the cash into a savings account which may be kept as a reserve. Due to their propensity to spend money as soon as it arrives in their bank accounts, many individuals miss out on opportunities to truly save money. However, you lower your risk of blowing your initial savings by limiting your interaction with this money and putting in an account specifically allocated for wealth accumulation. Therefore, setting up automated savings deductions is definitely the way to go if you're lazy or just want one less thing to worry about in your life. Number 3. Reduce educational expenses. In a young person's life, college is a significant period. It's a time when you make new friends, expand your network, and learn the skills necessary to have a very successful job. However, despite these positive aspects, student debt is a side effect of the college experience that most young adults must manage. Over 43 million students in the United States are in some level of student debt as of 2021, with the average debt load coming in at just under $40,000. That's a lot of money to be thinking about all the time as you start one of the most challenging chapters of your life, the transition from college to your working life. For this reason, you must effectively manage your educational expenses if you want to live a more stress-free financial life. The greatest thing you can do if you haven't started college yet is to reduce your fees and find ways to cover some of your expenses. This entails attending a nearby university rather than one farther away, while keeping a part-time job that fits in with your study schedule. Now, if you're out of college and still have student debt, you should employ the following methods. After paying off all of your highest interest debts, such as credit card debts and car loans, pay off your student debt as quickly as you can. You'll probably need to get a second job or start a side business to bring in the extra money you'll need to pay off your debts, because your work likely doesn't contribute much to your bank account each month. Number 4, apply the 5 times rule. If you want to reach your financial goals and never have to worry about money again, you must understand what you can and cannot afford. You may use the 5 times rule as a spending guide. In other words, if you can't afford 5 of something, you can't afford 1 of it. For example, if you have $15 in your budget, you can get a $3 coffee. Alternatively, your $20,000 credit card will have to remain on the lot if you don't have $100,000 in the bank. By using the spending approach, you may avoid practically all of our spending difficulties and as a result, prevent avoidable consumer debt that will raise your stress levels by the day. Number 5, consistently make retirement investments. How do you create a retirement strategy that allows you to leave your work before you retire? The 3 fundamental components of every retirement plan are your investing strategy, your schedule for retirement, and your target retirement age. Your retirement goal is the amount of money you must set aside in order to retire. This amount is determined based on the annual living costs you expect to incur throughout your golden years. This target amount is often determined by multiplying your annual living costs by 25 to 35 times. For instance, choose a 35 times multiplier if you want to be conservative. You would need $1.75 million to retire if you hope to live off $50,000 a year. Your retirement timetable must be taken into account after this amount has been established. Determine your desired retirement age and the number of years you have to accumulate this amount of money. Once you have a targeted retirement age in mind and a schedule for when you plan to retire, you can then choose your investment strategy. To put it simply, this entails figuring out what rate of return you must attain and how much money you must invest in order to reach your final retirement savings figure. Using the $1.75 million amount as an example, you would need to put around $700 away each month for the next 40 years if you started saving at age 25 and intended to retire at age 65 with a 7% return. Keep in mind that reducing your retirement timetable or decreasing your investment returns will both raise the amount you need to contribute on a monthly basis, as will the opposite. Now, for some people, the idea of investing that much money each month might be overwhelming. Well, the truth is that having a retirement plan in place is essential to preventing financial stress, especially as you approach adulthood. Nothing is worse than finding at 60 years old that you don't have enough savings set up for retirement and that you'll need to work until you're 100 years old simply to keep the lights on. As a result, you have 2 options if you currently make your retirement contributions. The first step is to make the necessary adjustments to your expected retirement and living expenditures. Lowering your monthly retirement contributions is the simplest method to reduce these expenses. Alternatively, increase your income so that you have more to invest. It sounds like we've reached the end of this video. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe and comment down your thoughts below. This is Finance Sense, helping you keep up with all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. See you next time!